Howdy, y'all.
I'm Leslie.
I'm Laurie. Welcome to
Sumo Kaboom.
Sumo Kaboom,
where we talk about all things sumo.
Yes, and we're going to talk to you about how the March Basho from 2025 ended. The one in Osaka, the one that was so dramatic so emotional.
The stormy Osaka battle.
It was a friggin' roller coaster ride. I don't know how you thought about it because we did not watch it together.
No.
But day by day, this one for me, I watched it and I just took it in like popcorn, and I got so much more emotional as the days went on. And day 15, I kind of watched like this.
Yeah, it was a tough one for me, but I think people checked in on me because they know how I feel about my very first love of sumo, and that's Takayasu. It was tough, but at the same time, they all gave such great performances, and I had so many guys to cheer on, and there was so much good sumo that I was like, however the cookies crumble, if Takayasu is okay with this, I'm okay with this. And it turns out he was. So spoiler alert if you've not watched the end of the Basho. He will always be the guy I'm cheering on to get the Basho win.
Yeah, and we are going to talk all about that. And I just want to say that's very mature of you. I thought about calling you to check in, and then I was like, no, she's an adult woman.
She can handle
it.
Dun, dun, dun. Look at this.
What we are holding up is an Aonishiki. I guess it's an autograph. It was given to us late last year. Here's this picture. Oh, it's really hard to see. There we go. Here's this picture holding it. We are going to share this online, share our photo of this because we absolutely love having this.
Yeah, and the story about how we got this, anyway, was a total surprise. But apparently this is one of, when you become a Makuuchi Juryo wrestler, you're allowed to finally give autographs. It's not a privilege that everybody can really have on one of these official boards or whatever. So they're perfecting their signature and all of that. So this is kind of one of the beginning, the first ones that Aonishiki made for us. And
it says to Sumo Kaboom! Exclamation point on the very top, which makes it even more special.
I know. Wow, what a tournament did this kid have?
Oh my God, yeah, and we were going to talk more and more about that. But I wanted to show you this because hopefully we're going to be talking a lot more about this kid in the future. We got a link to his fan club, and it's on Facebook, and you can join it.
Yeah.
I just joined it today, and I'm the 72nd fan club member.
I think I'm number 70. I feel like I did a couple days before you.
Okay.
Whenever I first saw the link, and I was like, and friend.
Yeah.
Or and follow.
Yeah. So I want to get that number up to 500. So let's see if we can do that. So I'm going to put the link below. Wherever you're finding this video, find that link and join and follow this kid because he needs more than 72 people following him and being in his fan club. Okay?
Well, and another fun thing we learned about
that's that southern upbringing coming through right there. We learned out about Aonishiki.
One thing we learned out about Aonishiki is that he doesn't respond on the Facebook page, but he actually reads everything they say. So if you are an international fan and you want to support another international wrestler who did a great job, go on there, follow, give him some words of support because supposedly he reads it, and that's hopefully what gives him some inspiration. So for a nice young wrestler, I think that would be, if it was me, I would be really happy to read all of that. So go send a message to Aonishiki because he did a great job.
And support is wonderful. Speaking of, I want to send some massive thank yous to some people who have donated to us through our coffee fund. If you want to support and follow us there, you can. It's ko-fi.com/sumokaboom. Several of you sent us really generous donations because of our anniversary. We celebrated 250 episodes a few weeks ago.
So many hours.
I just want to say thank you to Sarah, Terry, and Ron, and Enrique, and Chris for sending us donations in honor of that celebration. I just thought that was really sweet. And I think this is the same Enrique that's been sending us really wonderful emails about his experience in Japan.
Oh my goodness.
We're going to share next week, as long as he gives us that permission to share.
What an experience. We cannot wait to share.
Yeah. But I also want to thank so many of you support us on a monthly basis, and it just makes our day. So thank you, Jill, who was in Japan as well.
Amazing.
Yes. And we have not forgotten about that episode idea, that's still rolling around in the back of our heads, and we're hoping to make that a reality. Annie and Scott from Australia, Hannah, Peter, Mary Pat Campbell, who does really wonderful breakdowns of sumo on Substack.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so you could follow her sumo breakdowns on Substack. Gretchen Anthony, Jen, Andrew, Amy, MJ, Keegan, Lauren, Sue, Skittle, Griff, whoever you are. I just love that title. Dan, Caroline, Mawashi Guru.
I know
who's
who that
very
is.
very involved in the American sumo scene. We love her. Anna Fance, Dr. Quackenstein, who always sends us the best bingo cards. I'm sure you'll be seeing one of his soon. Sarah H, Joanna Yu, Henry Jenkins, another Jen, Angela E, Dr. KVC, the pinball queen, and anonymous donors as well that support us.
We love anonymous people too. That's so sweet.
Isn't that an incredible group of people?
It is. And what's even more, like, whether it's $250 or $250 million, we'll take it all. But
meaning $2.50.
$2.50 to $250 million.
$1. We love it.
I know. It's really, really sweet. But we also have people who volunteer ideas, but also one of our listeners set up a Discord page with us. Now we need someone to teach us how to use Discord, because every time I'm on there, I'm like, I don't understand how it works.
We need to go in there and look at the channel and figure out how it works. We'll do that.
Y'all are always supporting us, giving us ideas, correcting us often when we're wrong, reminding us of good practices, all the things.
Yes.
And we appreciate it all. So thank you all very much.
Yes. How about bingo winners?
Yeah.
First, here is a poem from Tom Miller, and you can guess who this is about. This is about someone who's gotten mixed reviews on his pre-bout ritual. It reads, Tachi success, booty bounce without a care. Keep those fingies loose. Who do you think that is?
Shishi.
Yep.
Who has adopted the Ryuden butt bounce. And whatever gives you power.
That's right.
If it's in that butt pump, then do it, bro.
That's
Just
right.
do it.
So thank you, Tom Miller, for sending in that haiku. That one made me laugh. Thanks for letting us share it. Okay, now to bingo. Our Maki Koshi bingo winner is Elizabeth. Elizabeth says she is a medical student in Maine that's been watching sumo for a few years now. I originally saw an informational video about it on YouTube, decided to watch an NHK highlight, and I've been hooked ever since. I don't have much free time for myself. I can't imagine as a medical student you would. And my hobbies due to studying, but I always make time when the Basho rolls around and for your podcast when I'm cooking dinner or cleaning the house.
Aww.
As such, my fiance is a fan by proxy. Of course. Okay, which wrestler don't I like other than Ryuden? They have all grown on me over the years, but because I have to choose, Midori Fuji has been my favorite for quite a while. He's such an underdog and he always tries his best. I like that he never strays from his style of sumo. He always looks so proud of himself when he wins, and his new apple red mawashi looks so lovely on him. I wrote a haiku for Midori Fuji for Valentine's Day, but submissions were on a testing week for me, so I completely forgot to send anything in. So here it is. Midori Fuji, smallest man on the doyo, biggest in my heart.
Nice. Round of applause. That's good.
Yep, wasn't it?
Ready for a Kachikoshi winner?
Mm-hmm.
My name is Ilya, and I'm from Burgas, Bulgaria, but currently living in Sheffield, England. I was following the Bulgarian Rikishi Kotooshu's performance every now and then. However, my passion for sumo really began in May 2023. My firstborn son, Leo, was just born around all the excitement and busy days. I have found a few interesting sumo-related channels on YouTube. Well, luckily, Natsu Basho was just around the corner and a real interest was born. Little one was watching alongside, and now, at 2 years old, he recognizes a number of my favorite Rikishi.
Oh, that's adorable.
Big fan of Wakataka Kage. Bless him. He wrestles with such grace. But I also really like Wakamoto Haru, Kirishima, Midori Fuji, and Koto Eko. But in my eyes, there isn't a single rikishi I dislike. Funnily enough, the Sumo Kaboom bingo win happened on my son's birthday. Happy days. And last but not least, my family really wants to thank you for the excellent entertainment and flavor Sumo Kaboom adds to the sumo community. We wish you good luck and much success in the future. Aw, that's so nice. Thank you so much, Ilya. That's awesome.
And congratulations.
See, it brings together this sport, everyone from all over the world. That makes me so happy.
All right, we will get your prizes to you. The email prizes, those will come this week. And if you've got jam coming to you, do you have a flavor that's...
I think I'll probably send fig. I think I'll send fig.
Ooh, that's a big winner.
Yeah, I like it. It's like, it's my favorite. It's my favorite. But also our second place bingo winners or wieners.
Second place bingo wieners?
Second place bingo wieners. Maybe that should be an official thing. We have bingo winners and second place bingo wieners. Y'all will get notified.
Sorry, that's hilarious. Yes.
Y'all will get notified. We always just kind of give it a couple of days.
People are still sending in bingos. I just saw earlier there were 3 new ones. So yeah, we give them a few days and then we'll pick those wieners and we'll email you.
Also, shout out to those of you who are wearing your Sumo Kaboom shirts at the Basho and you take pictures at the Basho.
Have you seen some?
Yes. Like it's really, really fun. I saw a picture the other day. Somebody sent in of them in a Sumo Kaboom t-shirt, like wandering around town, and like it's great. So thank you all for supporting us just by wearing our silly red t-shirt on the air or trying to get in front of a sumo wrestler so that they see that we're like Sumo Kaboom. So thank you.
I love it. Okay, shall we go back to day 10? At the end of day 10, just to put you way back then, Takayasu finished that day all alone in the lead at 9-1. He was followed by 3 wrestlers at 8-2, Ono Sato, Takeru Fuji, and Chura no Umi. That takes us into day 11 where Takeru Fuji and Chura no Umi were going to meet. And I believe you have day 11.
Yes. The first match I want to talk about is the Aonishiki versus Hakuoho. This was huge. It was a big tachiai. They bonked heads pretty solidly there. They both really tried some nice supari, but Aonishiki was kind of determined to move forward and he inched Hakuoho back. Hakuoho hops back and to the side, trying to move laterally to evade. But at the same time, he's kind of grabbing around the back of the head of Aonishiki and tries to slap him down. But Aonishiki, one thing I'd like to say, and I'll continue to talk about this kid has amazing balance, or his center of gravity is something else, because every time somebody tried that on him, he did not hit the dirt. He really stayed on his feet well. So he's so grounded. Well, that slapdown attempt did not work, and Aonishiki stays upright and focused. It was a Hatakikomi slapdown, and he gets a Kachikoshi for his debut in Makauchi on day 11.
Yeah, and that is just an incredible story to get your Kachikoshi that early. That's amazing. I really like the kid's tachiai. It's such an unusual tachiai. He's got a way of absorbing people coming at him.
Yeah, but he seems like he always seems like really closed. Like his chest isn't available for a lot of guys to get at.
It's like he's absorbing it with his head and his hands, those 3 points somehow. And I'm not even sure how he's using his head, but that's probably why his shoulders look so incredible, is because he's gotten so used to absorbing that with his arms. It's such a different style.
He's got Takeru Fuji traps. He really does.
Yeah.
He's really built up top. So that may be something to it. I shall move on and say that Indo beats Shodai, but afterwards he just sort of like collapsed this day and couldn't bend his knee to accept the prize winnings. And I wrote, I suspect a big injury there. And I also said I expect a Kyujo the next day, because whatever happened was intense. That continued to happen for the rest of the Basho. He kept showing up, just kind of being like a little out of it.
You know, there was one day he got up and his legs were super wide to help him get up. And that made me think, I wonder if it's extreme back pain, because he's not twisting to get up. He's using his abdominals to twist his whole body over so that it all stays in one line. And it made me think, I bet that's back pain. So here's my thought. What I want is for Endo to step away from sumo. I would be okay if he retired. I would be. But what I want instead is a YouTube channel where it's just Endo on a chaise lounge and people feeding him grapes. Would you not watch that?
Well, I think after a while I might get a little bored. I mean,
okay, you can
there's
feed
a lot
him
of
something other than grapes. You could do like strawberries.
Well,
just feeding him on a chaise lounge.
I like the idea, but yeah, I think I might. There's a lot of other sumo content out there that's a lot more engaging. But you know, I'll take a commercial. I'll take a commercial.
Okay. Okay.
Let me chat though about Takeru Fuji and churros. This was a big, easy tachiai from Takeru Fuji that just the blast just completely won it. It was over for churros. Over. Easy. Done. And I was like, wow, that blast from Takeru Fuji must have been something else. Kirishima versus Takayasu, two of my all-time faves going up against each other. This is always like half my heart's one way and half my heart's the other. It didn't end well for Takayasu. I'll just say that. We got a big blast from Takayasu and Kirishima, who absorbed it really, really well. Kirishima just moved laterally, like all around really quickly and made Takayasu kind of chase after him. There was one huge shoulder blast from Kirishima that turned Takayasu sideways, and then Kirishima just bulldozed him, ran Takayasu back and crossed the whole dojo and out into the audience. So that hurt because that was a day that I was like, oh, everybody can catch up now. Like, we still have a lot of time and don't do this. But
because he was out in the lead all by himself and he lost that.
Yeah, that was tough. Oho versus Kotozakura. This was great, straightforward sumo from Kotozakura. He was strong. He inched back on Oho, who was equal in size, really hard to move, big boy, very husky. Both husky boys. This is a husky boy match. And he got Oho back and out. And I was like, okay, Kotozakura. Okay. You have it in you. Don't lose your spirit. Like, you got it. You got it.
That's right.
Onosato versus Ura. This was, I mentioned it because it was the day that we got a really beautiful front roll dismount from Ura, who basically just got battered around by Onosato, who chased and swatted and targeted Ura until he was just pushed out. Simple. But Ura rolled. And I also noticed on this day, this is when Onosato's cupping on his back was like, very looked like tic-tac-toe. It was very obvious. So I was like, oh, his back is, all these guys have back issues, but when you see cupping, you're like, no, that's an active injury that's going to continue to probably bother him for the rest of his career. That's it for day 11.
What that means, or what that meant, was at the end of day 11, now we had a shared lead. Yeah. Now we had 3 guys tied for the lead. Yeah. Onosato, Takayasu, and Takeru Fuji. So the roller coaster starts again and takes us into day 12. So I'm going to talk to you about 2 things in day 12. 1, the newest guys to the top division, and then 2, this tie for the lead. Really watching what's happening there. Okay? So, which I think it's exciting to watch a basho when you've got new guys doing really well at the bottom of the banzuke, because that means at the beginning of your sumo day, if you're watching the top division, it's exciting. And then at the end of your sumo day, it's like you bookend exciting sumo rather than keeping it all towards the last 3 matches. Right. I like that. So Aonishiki outpushed Meslay on day 12. Meslay, slaying those dragons, to go to 9-3. 9-3. Incredible. Toki Hayate got his kachikoshi, his first one in the upper division, on day 12, this time against Shona no Umi. And I only say that because poor Toki Hayate, he left absolutely no impression on me the last time he was up here. And then I heard the announcer say, it's his 4th time in the upper division. And I thought, oh, he's left no impression on me 3 other times. So this is the 4th.
I had no idea who was there.
Only time he has left an impression on me.
Poor guy.
I mean, every time I watch him wrestle, I'm like, he seems more of an insurance salesman than a sumo wrestler. However, I have to eat my words this time because he just got a kachikoshi.
I know, he's like that guy, the nice guy at the bar. He's not showy, but sometimes you got to pay attention to the nice guy at the bar because he's got a lot of potential, and he's a real sweet guy, and he's got a lot of talent. But he just often gets overlooked by guys like Takeru Fuji who have great traps.
Have wonderful traps and are very flashy and tan and have great teeth. Right? Yeah. So well done, Toki Hayate, for pulling my attention to you.
I will say Takeru Fuji has some snaggle teeth, and I like it.
Oh, okay. Shishi got his kachikoshi, his first one in the upper division, this time against Wakamoto Haru. How did this happen? Shishi got his left arm, his long arm, over Wakamoto Haru's back and belt and pulled Wakamoto Haru off balance and out. I was so impressed with this win. Honestly, I did not think Shishi had that in him.
Well, one thing I have to remember though, it takes a little bit of time. Then these guys learn what the other guy feels like. And then it gets a lot harder. And we've seen that in Atami Fuji, First time through, he breezed through them all. They'd never fought him much. But now they all kind of know what his numbers are.
So you say maybe Wakamoto Haru didn't realize just how long his arms were?
Well, I'm just saying he just doesn't have the experience fighting him. But in time, the upper ranked guys, they have a little bit more experience in adjusting to each new wrestler that they fight.
Well, how about also Shishi was just doing good sumo that day. Better sumo than Wakamoto Haru.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And got his Kachikoshi. But I see your point. Yeah. I mentioned this only just because it's about Chura Naomi, who has been on and off the leaderboard. He got his long arms into the mix, completely overwhelmed Chura Naomi. Chura Naomi, that was his fourth loss. And I thought at the time that pretty much was going to take him out of the Yusho race. But I think post-fistula, he's done a great job to come back. Don't you?
I forgot he had the fistula. That's really just a hard word to say.
It really is. Okay.
But God bless, he deserves an award for that.
Right, doesn't he?
I think he got a Fighting Spirit Award.
Actually, it's probably why he's doing so well and why he didn't do well last time.
Finally, I can finally fight without my butt pain. Poor guy.
I know. Let's get to Takayasu versus Oho. Great match.
Yeah,
great match. Once Takayasu got the belt grip that he wanted, he took the driver's seat. Oho tried to escape. Takayasu followed, drove him out. I was completely on board for this. I absolutely loved his takedown of Oho, the new Sekewake, and that took Takayasu to 10-2, still on the leaderboard. Stress level for me was rising, but I was behind it. Onosato met Takeru Fuji. Two guys on the leaderboard together. Brilliant piece of programming, I thought. Both at 9-2, and this was another one that was so good. There was a huge tachiai from Takara Fuji that rocked Onosato back all the way to the edge of the ring, but Onosato slapped down just as he ran out of room. So Takeru Fuji went down, and Onosato got his win to stay on the leaderboard. That takes us to the last bout of the day on day 12. Big D Daisho versus Kotozakura, who at this point was still struggling to get enough wins to escape the Kataban status that he's in. This was an interesting bout because there was a lot more separation between the two than I thought that there would be. There was a push and an escape and then a slapdown attempt, and then they would renegotiate the ring space between them. But eventually, Kotozakura got the better of Daisho and inched himself closer to Kachikoshi with his 7th win against, this time, Big D. So at the end of the day, we had 2 guys in the lead, Onosato and Takayasu, 3 guys following, Takeru Fuji, Tamawashi somehow ended up in that mix, and Aonishiki in the mix for the Yusho. All these, I just love how the leaderboard shifted day by day of this Basho. It kept me so involved.
It's always unpredictable, this tournament.
Yep.
All right. Day 13. Takayasu versus Wakamoto Haru. I'm going to continue to mention Takayasu because he's the only guy I really cared about in this tournament. Yeah, there was a mata up top, so they couldn't really get a line. So I was like, okay, is Takayasu a little nervous? But he had a game plan, and he brought his A game, I'd say. Takayasu went in, and he put both of his arms out to stop Wakamoto Haru from getting close. Then he went full Tsupari battle, and Wakamoto Haru was not home. He was like not aware he was wrestling. I mean, it just happened so fast. He could not. And Takayasu was like, I got 2 hands on your face and I'm going all Tsupari. And he moved him back to the edge. It was a thrust out Tsukidashi win for Takayasu. And I was like, yes. Yeah, he's looking so strong.
Yeah.
And Wakamoto Haru just looked outpowered, outmaneuvered, out game planned, everything. And I was like, all right, the veteran's on his game.
Here's what I wrote. boom, 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 thrusty McThrust.
That's pretty much what that match was.
Yeah, it was good. I really liked that match. And it took him to 11-2.
Yeah.
Took him to 11-2.
Yeah. And that's very exciting.
Yeah. And not only to you, but to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody was
I'm not the only person cheering on Takayasu. We all want this.
Yes.
People are crying themselves to sleep every night over this. Aonishiki versus Daisho. I mentioned this because it's kind of funny because this was a little bit of a schooling, a moment, a learning moment for Aonishiki going up against Daisho, one of the big boys at the top. And I imagine that he had to go home that night and either be like, ouch, or like, okay, yep, I learned my lesson. Because there were two big thrusts. Daisho kind of lured Aonishiki up too high, and then he tried to lower his stance in response. Aonishiki did. And I think also to protect himself from these massive blasts that are coming to him from Daisho. Then Daisho stepped backwards and then just helped usher Aonishiki stumbling forward into the dirt.
I think you're right. It was a Sanyaku schooling.
Yeah.
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 Like, this is how we play up here.
Yeah.
Way up here. You will be here soon enough, but welcome to my world.
Yeah. Yeah. Takeru Fuji versus Kotozakura. Kotozakura looked pretty smart in this battle. He goes in looking for a belt grab, doesn't get it, backs up a little, keeping Takeru Fuji at a distance. Takeru Fuji is full charge ahead, though. He tries to move Kotozakura backwards with a neck grab or like a nodowa, because that is one of his major weapons. Kotozakura, though, sees it and just simply ushers Takeru Fuji to the ground with a slap down.
Simple. I do that all the time.
I do that.
Yeah.
Me too.
Simple takedown.
And then I love the...
Wait. But that was his kachikoshi. Did you say that?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Kotozakura got his kachikoshi on that day. That was the big for him.
When we all could rest a little easy, because the beginning of this Basho was a little painful for all of us, hoping we don't want to see somebody knocked off of the Ozeki rank.
No, we want to see him stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
and we're
hoping
it.
Yeah.
I wish he would have gotten it earlier than day 13, but that's okay. No. He did it.
So the big match of the day for me was Onosato, besides Takayasu, Onosato versus Oho. And I love this rivalry.
Me too.
And Oho's pre-bout ritual is like kind of spicy, but it's like extra calm. It's like intentionally calm, like trying to like mess with Onosato. He's like, I'm not rattled by you. I'm just so calm right now.
You don't bother me, buddy.
You don't bother me, right?
You can give me the stink eye all you want, but you don't bother me.
They're the same height. They're both also big husky boys.
I'm a husky too.
But when Oho ignites, he's a little bit like Takayasu in the angry bear face, and I do love it because the camera angle in this bout gave me everything and more. Nice. It was a big tachi from both of these guys. Onosato actually looked a little slow as Oho pummeled the thrusts on Onosato's upper chest and neck and tries to get inside. Onosato was up too high, and his slapdown attempts at this position did not work. Oho is just too big and grounded and beefy, and he is not easy to slap down. Onosato tried to evade laterally, but he ran out of real estate, and Oho just pushed and followed him out, finally finished him off. Oshidashi win. It looked pretty easy, and I like this outcome, and I think that this is all about pride. And Oho's, he's sitting here at 5'9" at this point.
He's already got his makikoshi. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is all about pride. And he's like, I may not get my kachikoshi, but I'm going to take you down, the front runner, and that'll sweeten the pot a little bit.
Sweeten the deal if I can beat you.
Yeah.
I was so excited about this one as well. Yeah. That meant at the end of day 13, we had a big reshuffle again of the leaderboard, and Takayasu was again out in the lead all by himself. The roller coaster continued. All right, he's in the lead all alone. Onosato trailing right behind him, one loss behind. And then we had 6 men trailing those two, which takes us to day 14, which was such a good day of sumo. Such a great day of sumo. And most of the really best matches were early in the day. Again, I do want to talk about Mitakeumi.
Yeah.
He got his makekoshi on day 14. And I mention it because he's way down.
He's in 17.
Yeah.
So, and I wrote that day 15.
Should I wait and talk about him on day 15?
Spoiler alert, he also lost, which means essentially demotion to Juryo.
Yeah.
That hurt.
I am wearing my Mitakeumi shirt today in honor of the man. Mitakeumi, when I first started watching sumo.
He's your gateway wrestler.
He was my gateway wrestler. Yeah. And he was in Sanyaku strongly when I first started watching sumo.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back and I looked at his history. He started sumo professionally in 2015, so 10 years ago.
Wow.
That first year, by the end of the first year, he was in Makuuchi, and he has never left the top division in 10 years. He became Ozeki, Sekiwake, all like he existed for a long, long time in Sanyaku.
Yeah.
And here he is down at the bottom and potentially going down to Juryo. We don't know what they're going to do at the Banzuke, but I would assume so. It is like the end of an era for me. Not only that, but Hokuto Fuji, I believe, was hurt on day 14 in Juryo. Endo also looking hurt, like all these men who were at top when I first started watching sumo.
Yeah, it's a changing of the guard.
It's a changing of the guard. And so I just wanted to wear this t-shirt in honor of the man. Hopefully he won't retire just yet, but I love Yumi Takayumi.
Maybe
Always
he'll
will.
bump down and then come back up. Who knows?
I hope so. Like a Takada Fuji, who we thought was going to retire, and he's still in there. Right. But again, same thing happening.
Just barely hanging on.
I know. So I just wanted to mention that. So many super exciting bouts. Quickly, Shishi won against Endo, and again, Endo was real slow to get up. Toki Hayate met Tamawashi. Tamawashi, boy, had his most aggressive thrust game on. Sent Toki Hayate all the way to the edge, but all it took was one step by Toki Hayate at the edge. He stayed in. Tamawashi went out. That took Toki Hayate to 10-4. Aonishiki met Takeru Fuji both at 9-4. And wow, Aonishiki got in and underneath Takeru Fuji, somehow pulled a win out of this, going to 10-4 in his Makuuchi debut, just completely owning the space in the top division. I feel like Aonishiki has put a flag in the ground and said, I deserve to be here. Just an incredible debut. Incredible debut. But again, I just want to say how happy we are for this kid. That takes us to Takayasu versus Chura no Umi. First meeting for these two.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised by. Such a good match. Such a bummer of a match. But Chura no Umi was just flat out relentless. Chura no Umi stayed so close to Takayasu and just met him with a flurry of thrusts. Eventually, Takayasu tried to make some space between the two of them so that he could make something happen or to try a slap down, and there was just no space left to run. So that meant that Chura no Umi walked away with this win, and my heart broke a little bit because I wanted him to retain that lead. Oh, did not like that loss.
I know.
However, Chura no Umi, well done.
I know, you can't sleep on Chura no Umi, and I have in the past. I was just like, he's not showy. He's like Toki Hayate. He's a nice guy at the bar. But he's really an incredible wrestler, and he's starting to really show his abilities.
I'm going to skip a whole bunch of really wonderful sumo in the middle. Apologies. I wish I could talk about them all. There was a tremendous fight between Ichi Yamamoto and Oho, where Ichi Yamamoto backed Oho to the edge, was pummeling him. Ichi Yamamoto doing all of the right things in all of the right ways, but it was Oho who slipped to the side and turned to stay in the ring, and Ichi Yamamoto went out. I just had to recognize the spirit of Ichi Yamamoto.
No, he's just so fun to watch.
He really
brings me
is.
as much joy as Ura does, actually.
Me too.
Because he loves sumo so much, and like he loves and he gets now more serious now that he's even better. He's improved. He gets real serious. Like he gets into the game of it, but underneath it, he's just like this nerdy guy who's like, I love what I do. Can I tell you about what I do?
So even though he lost, I'm still a big fan of Ichi Yamamoto. Oho, that win took him to 6-8 in his Sekiwake debut. So still a Makikoshi, but a win that I'm sure he would like. Okay, that takes us to Onosato versus Daieisho. Goodness, this was just another husky match of big huge thrusts. Long story short, Onosato came out with this win, and that took him to 11-3, which meant that again, Takayasu and Onosato were tied for the lead. Oh my lord, wrenching up the excitement factor. I don't even know. It seriously was like going up a hill on a roller coaster again. I was like, I'm excited. Oh my God, he's going to do it. I'm excited. I'm nervous. Oh my God, he's going to do it. All right. Last bout of the day, Kotozakura versus Hiradoumi. This was Hiradoumi from beginning to end. Kotozakura didn't know where to put his hands. He just like tried several different places. Perhaps because he had gotten his kachikoshi, he was like, you know what? I'm not going to try so hard anymore.
I'm done. I'm done with this tournament.
Yeah. Or maybe he was truly flummoxed by Hiradoumi's speed and agility. Could be that.
Hiradoumi is an incredible wrestler, and he has such flexibility in his upper back. So you can't do your Supari attack, or you can't thrust as easily on him because he just bends back with you. He goes with it.
And he's just so fast. And what he did this time is he got the front of Kotozakura's belt and they just like moved around. And Kotozakura was like, I don't know. Do I grab here? Do I grab there? Do I grab over? Do I grab under? So Hiradoumi walked away with that win. So we got the two guys still in the lead. Going into day 15, we have Churanoumi, Aonishiki, Toki Hayate in the Basho race at 10-4.
I know.
I never would have thought that Toki Hayate would be in the race for the Yusho or Aonishiki or Churanoumi, but I absolutely love it. And that takes us to day 15.
Day 15. Okay.
Can we talk about how much cheering there was in the audience?
There was a lot of love. I mean, people really wanted this for Takayasu. I think that this day, this is bigger than all of us. Right?
It really is.
It's like the Karate Kid story. It's just, you just really want Ralph Macchio to beat everybody else. You want the underdog.
Yeah. Did you watch the Doyo Iri when they all walked in on day 15?
No.
Oh my God. The crowd, he got the biggest cheer of everyone when they said his name. Aww. When they said Takayasu's, I mean, the place erupted. And Onosato got some big cheers, but it was not as big.
No. I mean,
he obviously had the heart of the place.
Yeah.
And
everybody
wants Takayasu to win.
There was a Henka attempt by Asakoryu that did not work on Hakuoho.
Desperation,
and it was really funny. Yeah, that was a Yori Kitty win there. Okay, Tobizaru versus Ura. This was a very, very lively match.
Oh, that was an odd fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. There was no tachi really. There was all slaps and street fighting. I really could have seen this on the streets of Osaka.
It was fake pumps, like all over the place.
There was flinches, constant flinches, and I was just like, "What?" It was so spunky, and Ura just did so many flinches, and it just made me giggle. Lots of back and forth all over the ring. One rushing the other to the other side of the doyo, and then the other one would rush the other guy back to the other side of the doyo. Basically, Tobizaru was up too high and he got off balance. So Ura swooped inside like a linebacker and then just moved Tobizaru back and easy to finish off with that. So he just tackled him, just plain old tackled him. And I think everyone who loves Ura, because he's from Osaka, got a good last showing from Ura that day.
Yeah.
Wakamoto Haru versus Takeru Fuji. Takeru Fuji had the better tachi here. Wakamoto Haru waited with sort of like a defensive game plan here. He did get a deep grip on the left side by being lower, and he was really deep on Takeru Fuji's waist and then improved that with a right outside grip. And then he manhandled Takeru Fuji back and out. So it was pretty easy in the end, but it just showed Wakamoto Haru was calm-headed and he was like, I think my defensive game will win, and it did.
You know what I liked about that? Wakamoto Haru was willing to be rocked off balance to get the belt grip that he wanted.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen it happen so clearly.
Yeah.
That he was like, oh, you're going to rock me this way? Perfect, because my hand's going to go right where I need it to go. And now the tables are turned.
That was a great one.
But because it's all about this one coming up, were you nervous?
Yeah, I was nervous.
Did you have your fan towel out?
No, but I don't always get that animated. Like I hear you on the other side of the house, and I don't make any noise. Like I'm the same when I go to the theater, and I'm also an actor, so I'm not the greatest audience member. But this is what I did. Yes, or come on, buddy. That's my game. Come on, buddy.
So there you were in your corner going, come on, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Takayasu versus Abi, and I thought
I was having flashbacks.
I just was like, why'd they do that to him? Like, they wanted to. Why did they give him Abi? Like
anyway. Were you having flashbacks to that playoff where Takayasu got hurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, this match, I could hardly contain myself. I leapt out of my seat because we all know what we want up top. Up top, Abi tried a henka. He tried a henka, which is just...
Because that's what he did last time in the playoff.
Right. But Takayasu was all over it. Yeah. He recentered himself. He threw some supari on Abi, who also did some thrusting back on Takayasu. The bear was ignited. And he made his angry bear faces, like his eyebrows go up. I love it. It was full bear, full display. He did a huge shoulder push that had Abi turned a bit, and that move allowed Takayasu to grab onto Abi.
Yep.
With a left outside and set up for a beltless arm throw. Abi was off balance now. Takayasu manhandled him and hit him and basically sent him to the dirt. Abi hit the dirt forward and into the splits with Takayasu's last final thrust. And it was an Iwatadashi Nage is what it was called. So I was like, he's got to win. Now Onisato has to lose.
Right. Because either he had won the whole Basho or there was going to be a playoff. He did everything he needed to do.
Yes.
He did it. He moved so well. I was so excited at this point.
Aonishiki versus Oho. This match in size, you see that Oho is just bigger. And up top, this will be an advantage.
For Oho, you mean?
Yeah, versus a very quick-moving Aonishiki. And he kept Oho from getting much of a grip. It was a lot of smacks, thrusts, pushes, until Aonishiki got inside and close to the chest of Oho. Then he pulled a clever leg trip that sent Oho backwards and into the dirt. It was a very top-heavy Oho who just went with a kirikaeshi, which is, I think, a backwards leg trip, something like that. And it was a very, very impressive win. And he got the magical
Kantosho.
He got the magical bows, the feathers.
Well, he got
arrows.
The best newcomer award, which is newbie comes in, does shockingly well, and gets an extra little trophy. And my God, totally deserves that.
Yeah,
completely deserves.
He fought well.
Yeah.
This is Onisato versus Kotozakura.
I have never cheered on Kotozakura so hard in my life.
I know, but I did not like this match.
I didn't either.
I thought this pairing was not the challenge that Onisato needed, because we all know that Kotozakura, yes, is an Ozeki, but we know he struggled. We know that they make the decisions like right before, like the day before the match or 2 days before. He had not been having a great, they needed to set him up there with somebody else.
Who else?
I don't know, but just somebody else.
I didn't mind the matchup. I just didn't like the sumo. I wanted Kotozakura to bring some spice.
No, he was he was bulldozed at the Tachiai by Onisato.
It was too easy. It was way too easy.
And Onisato's great, but he just got right inside, just easily charged. And everybody, I think, was like, this is anticlimactic. We know this.
Yeah, I was like,
Kotozakura is off his game. Give him somebody that's not off his game.
I actually wondered if he phoned it in a little bit. Not Onisato. Kotozakura, because he already has his Kachikoshi. The last 2 days, he did not have very impressive sumo. And this was the match that made me go, oh, God, you could have brought more to that, Kotozakura. But really, I just really wanted Onisato to lose.
I know.
Truly what was happening.
Let me get to what everybody cares about, because this episode can't go on forever.
Sure can.
We love to talk about this. That meant that we had a playoff. And it was Onisato versus Takayasu. We had a huge tachiai. So much power. So much energy between these two guys. Takayasu got the quick grab first with a very strong left inside. But Onisato also got the right outside. And although Takayasu tried really hard to get him off of his belt grip, he kept his hips a little bit distant and really tried the wiggle or a slight distancing of his hip to be able to grab. Onisato was charging and he moved Takayasu backwards. Takayasu was then rushed to the edge, but he pivoted. He did pivot right at the edge to pull a throw.
I thought he had him.
I thought he
had him.
Sato sat heavy. He tipped away far forward, and I thought he was going to go out. Miraculously, he stayed on his feet, and he leaned really, really hard instead on Takayasu. And then Onisato did a side hug and chug from that kind of position, and Takayasu kind of got turned around and all of that. And then he couldn't recover from that kind of position, and he couldn't recover. And then that was it. It was heartbreaking. Tears were flowing. But I want to tell you a story.
Wait, before you go to the story, can I say one thing?
Sure.
Major kudos to Onosato for some fabulous sumo.
Yeah.
Because he responded well. He moved his right knee just into the perfect position.
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job.
Yeah.
But let me tell you a little bit, though. This is the news that I wanted to say. You know, Takayasu was interviewed afterwards, and he says, I kind of read this somewhere. He was, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm in the strongest shape of my life. He didn't seem as bothered as the rest of us. But here's the really beautiful story.
Yeah.
Takayasu is Onosato's mentor. So what happened when Onosato was being scouted by Nishonoseki? Now, Nishonoseki, or Kisenosato, was essentially the elder statesman at the club when Takayasu was coming up. So it's his big brother is Nishonoseki. So when he was being scouted, Onosato, Nishonoseki Oyakata took Takayasu to work out with Onosato. Takayasu spent tons and tons of matches working out with this kid in college, giving him all the pointers, giving him all the abilities, all of the advice he could. And he actually said to him, he said, when you're choosing a stable, I promise you, you can't go wrong with Nishonoseki. So the whole reason that Onosato chose to end up at Nishonoseki is because of Takayasu. So
you just gave me goosebumps.
Right?
That's beautiful.
That's like that was like in Nikon Sports I read today. So you don't know, probably, you know, Onosato was like, yeah, I won. And he's now on his Yokozuna run.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Takayasu is responsible in many ways for making sure that Onosato is Ozeki quality and gave him the right footing to even get, you know, some advice and somebody to work out with. He taught him that, you know, so I was kind of like, oh, that's kind of awesome. I mean, Takayasu has to be kind of like, he can't be that disappointed. He's kind of responsible in some ways for him taking that route. Because at the time, remember, Hakuho had just started up Miyagano. He had gotten Hakuoho. He had gotten, who was the tall kid? Hokuseiho. It made sense. Everyone was like, why doesn't this great kid go over there? He chose Nishonoseki. And I think partly because of Takayasu. So.
And Takayasu did not go home empty-handed.
No.
He is not only the runner-up for this, which he has been 9 times now. He also went home with the Ginosho, the technique prize. So people liked his technique. They liked what they saw. So he goes home with that. Aonishiki went home with the Kanto show, and Chura no Umi also went home with the Kanto show.
And Onosato gets another car? I don't know what he gets, but he is now on another Yokozuna run. So if he wins this one, or he won this one, if he wins the next one, then we all have somebody to cheer for because we all want another Yokozuna.
Wouldn't that be great to have 2 Yokozunas?
Yeah.
Yeah. But wouldn't it also be great to have Takayasu win?
Yeah.
Yeah. He did all the right things. I love it. I love it. It was such a fun Basho.
It was. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you for watching us on YouTube. We really appreciate we have so many new listeners and new watchers there. We will be back at you next week with old school audio. But thank you for your time, your efforts, your donations, all of that, all the love that you send us.
Unless we do an interview, and then we might have video.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
We have some exciting stuff in the works. We hope it happens.
Well, then join us next week. Until then, I'm Leslie.
Laurie, see you later. Bye.
Bye.